The 533 Tiny Trainer has been a staple of many people's FPV fleets for probably since its inception, over a couple years now. But now with the Tiny Trainer V2, all things really don't come to an end. What we get is a great brand new beginning. I'm Chad, this is the Dorky and 40 RC channel. Let's talk about some tiny trainers. So what's going on, all of my FPV RC fans? Now, truth be told, I have not really flown a lot of FPV over the past 6 months, obviously because I've been doing the RC drag car thing, having lots of fun with that. But over the past couple months, I've been reinvigorated with the FPV hobby. The technology has just taken off. We have the Tiny Trainer Spec Racing Series going on literally 10 minutes from my house in an old white Westinghouse building, flying in the dark in LED colored lights, gates, and everything. It's just fantastic. Now, I do have some other products coming on the way, of course. We've got HD0 goggles. We have the Radio Master Ranger module that I'll be putting in the TX16S Mark II here, so that way we can get a full 1 watt and run at 1,000 megahertz update speed. So we are going for ultra super low latency, everything here on the channel. But of course, the star of the show is the Tiny Trainer V2. Now, we can't talk about the Tiny Trainer V2 without talking about the Tiny Trainer V1. Now, during the Black Friday sale, I picked up 2 of these pre-built, ready to fly from 533. Great, the best things ever. Completely tuned, everything ready to go. Literally about 10 to 15 minutes of setup and beta flight, your ELRS binding, things like that, and you are ready to go. These things have been fantastic. I cannot speak highly enough about the experience that the pre-built quads get you. And for 40 bucks or cheaper sometimes if on a discount, that is just hours of building and frustration that you get back into your life. Not to mention, if you end up with a bad part or something like that, you know, they're going to figure that stuff out for you, and you're not going to have to find out yourself and end up replacing something and being frustrated, which is one thing that we all know can happen in FPV. So how did I get my hands on this little beauty? Well, I actually went in and purchased a ready to fly version of this, which wasn't going to be coming out for like another couple weeks or so. And they actually ended up having a drawing to get one out into somebody's hands quicker, and I won the drawing. So here we are. We got the Tiny Trainer V2, and I should be able to race this baby this weekend. Now, I've already flown it. I'll show you a little bit of flight footage. It's not that cool H.265 analog DVR that we will be having from the HD0 goggles soon, but nevertheless, flight performance of this thing is just fantastic. Flies literally just like the other Tiny Trainers do. The only thing that's cool is with the new canopy and the way that the camera is mounted, you get a lot less props in your view running this camera position. But show you guys exactly how all of this comes apart here. It's super duper easy. So you still got your zip ties, but these arm pieces are separate of this canopy. So I cut the zip tie on this back arm right here, and there's 2 M2 screws that go through a standoff here that you just kind of loosen up. And then once you loosen those up a little bit, you literally can just flip up the entire canopy. The antenna is kind of mounted and set in there as well, and it just pops all right up. And now you have complete access to everything, access to your camera controls, which has become, like, you know, a really important thing, changing the actual scene modes in the camera while we're racing around inside the warehouse and all that kind of stuff. Just fantastic. The build that is done on this, we've got the LED kit that is already installed and done, which I had to do on my first 2 quads that I got from them. I had to flip the board over and actually solder the LED pin and then install the LEDs, which wasn't a big deal, but it is a super nice option now that you can get that done again at no additional charge. Just can't believe just how well they're doing that. You know, we've got like the capacitor soldered in there, everything, express LRS receiver here on the top. All you need to do, of course, when you first get it is just this every receiver that I have gotten from 533 has already pretty much got the Express LRS 3, 3.01 on there. So you just plug a battery in, wait for the Wi-Fi to pop up, and all you literally need to do is just go in and add your binding phrase into there and reboot it, and you'll be good to go. If you want to update all that stuff, you can. I tend to shy away from it just because sometimes Express LRS updates really easy, and sometimes you end up having to solder boot pins and doing all this crazy stuff. I'm sure a lot of you realize that as well. So this is definitely the main feature about this thing, and not to mention the entire thing has been redesigned here. But real quick, we can pop off these arms, kind of like snap into place a little bit onto the carbon. So if we remove that back one, you can see now that we have full access to the USB port right there, and you can plug into Betaflight, do all your configuration. Really simple and easy. Don't have to worry about taking out screws and all that stuff again. And then you basically just have one zip tie that you need to replace on the back when you're all done doing all that. Now, the Tiny Trainer V2 here, besides this awesome canopy, has had a lot of other modifications done to it. Individual arms now, there's actually 2 plates inside of here. So there's like the sandwich plate, and then inside of here, if you look at their building CAD video, you'll see that there is some internal press nuts, and you have M3 screws underneath here under the battery where you can actually just kind of torque down through there, as Armando says, and really get those things tight to take out any kind of resonance or anything like that at all. So you can now do individual arm replacements. We've got a little bit of extra carbon, a couple standoffs running, one right there and one right here as hinges, and everything is just beautiful. Instead of having the battery case kind of screwed on like it was before, which sometimes it could have ripped through and things, and I ended up using really thin like M2 washers to kind of hold it into place a little better. This new updated battery holder kind of has this lip here in the front, so you can't push the battery any further forward than that lip. So you're always going to get, like, say, perfect balance and everything every time. You can see how I just can't get it to go any further. And you don't have to use this. You can use rubber bands. You can actually put a Velcro strap through there if you wanted to. You've got a lot of different options. You've got different options when it comes to mounting your camera, if you're wanting either some lower or some higher camera angles. So you have literally all kinds of options when it comes to how you want to run this and build this. So I am super duper pumped about all this. I'm even more pumped that I won it for free, and I'm going to be getting another one, the one I actually purchased here, maybe within another 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not sure where I'm falling into the back order type of thing. It's only fair that somebody else gets theirs maybe before I do. Until then, of course, we will have the V1s to fly with and race with at the warehouse race, which, again, flying this one and flying that one, not really a whole lot of difference. It was super windy out today, so my test flying was kind of, cut short, just like a couple packs, just kind of testing things out, making sure that everything was set up and ready to go. These things come to you, again, in such a great state from 533 that besides binding to Express LRS, moving around some OSD elements, changing like your control link preset settings, like I flashed the preset for Express LRS 250 running off of the the TX16S2, and let's see, what else did I do? Not a whole lot. Like, I fly with their rates, I fly with their PIDs. They flash the ESC in the polytutor boards are pre-flashed with Blue Jay. I'm not sure if they do any kind of settings adjustments with those at all. I think they might, because they sure do fly great and smooth. Got, of course, a set of the heads-up props to come with them as well. Just fantastic. Could not be happier with the experience. And, you know, when it comes again to the pre-build stuff, as I move towards summer and if I want to get back fully into like outdoor FPV racing, really just for the first time, I never got into it fully. I just can't think of a better way to go than pre-built light switches or switchbacks or whatever. It's just, there's no reason to, not have one of those and pay that extra fee, especially, you know, if you work, you know, in a busy job like I work in healthcare, long hours, family, everything else. Sometimes it's hard to like sit down, and you know how it is when you get like a project on your bench. You know, I can't just work on something for like 15, 20 minutes at a time. I need to like get down and get everything done and get it ready, test flown, out the door. So you're looking at like 3 or 4 hours, and that all is done for you for the most part before you get these babies. So what else can I say besides the fact that I'll be really looking forward to an HD0 pre-built that will hopefully be coming out soon. I heard they got some HD0 parts coming in. I would definitely love to throw like a 90 FPS camera in one of these like Ryan Quillett did. Maybe have to lose the lights and try to get still with the lights and everything. It's definitely a little bit more room in there, you know, like Armando said, to get things in there, but you can still see that, you know, it's going to be a tight build and it's going to be a pretty advanced build still. You know, we're getting the old eyes and stuff like that. Now the soldering of the small joints and stuff starts to become a little bit more difficult for a guy like me, but that is okay. That's the way that it goes. So that is it, guys. Super happy. Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Armando. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing you guys soon here at one of these races if you get to make it up. And if not, we will see you guys on all the social medias and all that stuff. So thanks a lot, everybody. Peace.